Welcome to this month's edition of Umbraco's Tech Webinars, where we, as always, try to promote great products and inspire everyone in the ecosystem. My name is Jesper, and I'm your host today. Today, I am together with my friend Brian and his friend Anders. They will introduce the great product of Relewise. Anders is joining us from one of the great Umbraco solution partners, Impact, out of Copenhagen. If there's any doubt, I will just make sure that everybody understands that Relewise is all about personalization and recommendation. It's one of those great products. So without much further ado, Brian, please take it away.
Sure. Thank you, Jesper. So I'm just going to share my screen here. And thanks for having me here on this tech webinar. I've been really looking forward to it. My name is Brian, and I've worked with software for many years, software development. Most of those years I've been in the agency side of things, implementing large-scale e-commerce solutions for different clients on different technologies and platforms, and had a great fun with that. Today I'm going to talk about Relewise, which is a software as a service company that I've co-founded. But before doing that, I just want to introduce you to Anders, that I've invited to join me here on this tech webinar. Anders, please take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. It's really appreciated that you will have us on the call today, and especially me, because I'm coming from the business side of things. My name is Anders, and I'm heading up the partnerships here at Impact. As you can see, we are a full service agency, 100% focused on digital commerce. We are about 400 people now and located in 7 locations all around Europe. So yeah, very much looking forward, and thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Over to you, Brian.
Sure. Thank you, Anders. Yeah, so as mentioned, I've co-founded Relewise. Relewise is a software as a service company, as mentioned, based in Denmark. What we've built is a personalization platform that offers functionality within personalized search and personalized recommendations. So if you take a look at our platform from an overview perspective, Relewise has 2 main components. We have a lot of components, but the 2 main components of Relewise is the search engine, where we offer personalized search in products, variants, categories, brands, and content items. And then we have our recommendation engine, where we have 15+ different type of recommendations, for instance, for products typically used for upsell and cross-sell. And also we have content recommendations. What we also have in Relewise is a merchandising component, where we allow business users to sort of create business strategies on top of the results that we produce. A business strategy could be that a business user would like to have products that they have a higher profit margin to be boosted in the results that we provide. It could be boosting products from specific suppliers. It could be tap into the sustainability agenda, boost products that we know are more friendly to the environment. The opposite example could be to give a negative boost to products that are more likely to be returned based on return data. And a broad range of different scenarios can be supported in the merchandising component. On top of the functionality that we have, being these different components, all of that is exposed through our API. So being API first driven, again, all the things that we do and all the things that we develop is accessible from that API. And on top of that API, this is where we see the different customers and clients that we have utilizing Relewise inside a website, using us in apps, use us for email marketing, integrations down in the physical store. We can be used in a physical store POS system, and of course, other channels as well. On top of our API, we also have a business user tool and a developer tool that makes it easier for our customers to configure, for instance, the merchandising business strategies, as mentioned before. So I'm going to cover some of these components, some of this functionality throughout this webinar. Relewise itself is built on Mac principles. We fit right into the composable architecture. Again, being API first driven, all the functionality that we provide, someone has to sort of take that functionality and put it into play somewhere. And that somewhere could be, as mentioned before, a website, it could be an app, it could be an integration to a point of sale system. And to make it easy for developers to integrate to Relewise, we've made different SDKs on top of our API. We have a .NET SDK that makes it easy for .NET developers, and we also have JavaScript and TypeScript SDKs for developers working on that technology stack. And again, since we're API first and headless, it means that any of our customers can customize our functionality to how they want it to be and how they want it to look and behave. An example here is one of our customers, Doorbak Red Office. Here we have the search result page. We have a user that has searched for printer. And in this particular website, they decided, very classic, to show the products that match the search word. But on the left side, show the filters, in this case, categories and brand filters for narrowing down search results. Very classic example. Here we have another client, only.com, using Relewise search as well, but a different look and feel, So here we see the products and the facets on top of the products. And again, this is really tapping into that we're just an API, we're just a headless API, and it's up to our customers and the partners of their choosing to implement the functionality and make it look really nice and smooth and all that. Here's a third and last example from one of our customers, Søstrene Grene. So here on the product detail page of a paper cup, if we scroll down, you'll see that we have a product recommendation slider. So those customers that typically buy the paper cup, Relewise has, noticed the behavior of those users, has, looked into the user behavioral patterns and the buying patterns, and automatically we can generate those cross-selling products or complementary products that typically is sold together with the paper cup. So these are just, few examples on some of the implementations out there. We work together with a broad range of different customer types within different segments and industries. We have, customers that are targeting the B2C segment, as well as customers targeting the B2B segment. We have customers that are targeting both. And also we have customers that are in the physical stores, as well as the online presence. So omni-channel players, as well as pure players. And the webinar today is actually going to focus a lot on the integration that we've made on top of Umbraco. So what we did is to create an integration that makes it really, really easy to integrate Relewise into the Umbraco platform. The integration that we implemented or that we built is available on NuGet. All the code that we created part of this integration, we made that open source, so you can take a look at that on GitHub. We made it so that it supports version 9, as well as, of course, latest and greatest version 10 of Umbraco. And also, what we did was to create a feature complete sample site called Boozy, which is built for showcasing this particular integration. And I'm going to show a little Boozy demo later. All the details about our Umbraco integration is available on the Umbraco marketplace as well. So in order to, for those of you out there that are technical, in order to install Relewise on top of Umbraco, these are the commands that are necessary. First, you need to install the Umbraco template through the template manager of the .NET CLI, or install Umbraco in either other way that you want to. But most importantly, you need to add Relewise as a NuGet package on top of that solution, and then you need to run the site. Once you have Umbraco up and running, you can bootstrap Relewise. You do that in the bootstrapping part of your code base, typically startup CS, where you add Relewise to the dependency injection container, to the DI container, which is the first line here. And then lastly, you add Relewise to the Umbraco builder. Then basically you have what is needed to set up Relewise. Of course, you need to tell us or tell the integration what dataset at Relewise you're going to use. So you'll open up the app settings file and add, the ID of the dataset and the API key of the dataset that is brought to you by Relewise, of course. You add that to app settings, and then you can go to the Umbraco back office. You can go to settings, Relewise, and then you can see a simple Relewise dashboard. And then that's it. Then you have Relewise available in your Umbraco application. This means that you can access all the API clients of Relewise. For instance, if you want to do a content search, as I have in this example. So the example here shows how we can do a very, very simple search inside our Umbraco application, send the search request to Relewise, And what is really important to note here, which I've also highlighted, is that you're going to pass the user. And the reason why you want to pass the user is for Relewise to enable personalization. So there's a few prerequisites necessary in order to do personalization. So first and foremost, in order to do personalization, you need to have consent from the user. So the user has to give you, grant access or give consent for you to collect any personal identifiable data. In our case, behavioral data. So typically you do that as the first thing in the user journey. You ask the user for permission. Then you have a user that has given consent to be tracked. The next thing that is really important is that we should do as much as possible to identify the same user across different sessions, different devices, different channels. We do that by supporting having multiple identifiers to recognize the same user. And then in scenario B, users that do not consent to be tracked, and we typically see 30% of users that do not consent, you need to make sure that you do not track users with identifiers. You can track the behavior, but you cannot track who did it, basically. Step 3 in user tracking is to segment the user data. So if we have some sort of segmented information about the user, that could be geographical information. Typically, you see websites that are targeting multiple countries. You see a country selector as the first thing. Once the user has decided which country to purchase from, that data goes into step 4, which is the data of tracking user behavior. The typical events that are getting tracked are product views, content views, category views, cart updates. When you complete a cart, it becomes an order. We track that as well, and actual searches. So with this in place, you now are starting to collect your own first-party data of user behavior. And now I really want to sort of show you how we can use that in real life scenarios, real life ish, because this is just a sample site. We called it Boozy. We built it on top of Umbraco version 10. It supports V9 as well. What we implemented in this Boozy sample site is, user behavioral tracking. Implemented this notion of tracking what the user is doing on the site, and we also included consent. So the first thing you'll meet, I'm going to show you that, is the consent dialog before we actually start tracking user identifiable data. We also implemented content recommendations. We implemented content search in the sample site. We've implemented product recommendations, product search. The product data itself are coming from a PIM system, in this case, Struct PIM. And lastly, I'm just going to show you very briefly how you can integrate Relewise into your email marketing sales channel using Klaviyo. So in order to install the Boozy sample, the sample site that we built on top of Umbraco, you can clone the repository on GitHub. You need to run the backend client, the .NET run command up there. You need to install the front-end client, and then you need to run the front-end client. And basically, that's it in order to have us up and running on your end. So basically, I just want to show you this in action, this sample site. Once you have performed those commands that I just showed you, what you will have is a Umbraco installation already predefined with content inside it. The content being cocktail guides in this particular example, and some other content pages around the Boozy website, and also the product data as mentioned before. So the first thing you'll meet when you enter the website is the cookie consent dialog that we see on any compliant website today. And we implemented that as well because it's really easy to understand, to recognize. It's very easy. It's very important to understand that cookie consent or consent is a vital part of tracking behavioral data. So once the user has given consent or not consent to be tracked, the first thing the user will meet is an element on top, which are showcasing popular content from the website. So Relewise is actually picking content elements from Umbraco, those content elements that are gaining most attraction right now, as well as showing the products on the website that are most popular right now. If you go to one of the categories on the top menu, in this case, I'm clicking on wine, you'll see a product listing page, a PLP. where we're showing the products that live within that category selected. In the sample site, we also implemented faceting or filtering, so you can filter on categories and country. And also we implemented search, of course. So if you hit the, if you go to the search bar in the top right corner and you enter some text, in this case, I'm entering Pinot and N, then Relewise is going to return back suggestions for the user to complete that search. Is it Pinot Noir or Pinot Nel? And also we're going to show those products that are matching the search term entered by the user right now. So the user can select a product, go to the product detail page. On the product detail page, we're showing some of the typical recommendation elements that we typically see. One of them is this others are also looking at. This is a recommendation type that looks at user behavior, those users that are, you know, looking at this particular product, but not interested in buying it. What are they going to look at as the next thing? And also we're showing a recommendation slider of complementary products that are, you know, people that typically buy the product that we're on, they also typically buy these products along with that. So again, these are just examples of cross-sell, upsell. The product data, as mentioned, is coming from Struct. So if we open up one of the products inside Struct and we edit the short description, as an example, I'm just adding some extra text in front of the short description and hitting the save button in the lower right corner. The changes are automatically being pushed to Relewise through APIs, through webhooks. So our connector to Struct will just automatically push data from Struct to Relewise, which means that if we go back to the storefront, to the website, hit F5, we'll see the data being updated automatically as expected. So we can add, you know, the Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir to our cart. We can go to the cart page. The sample site includes another type of recommendation, which is a recommendation that is based on the content of the cart. So if we have multiple items in our basket, Relewise is going to look at what is typically purchased together with these multiple items. And again, an opportunity to increase basket size using this component. So another example of the Boozy website. In this example, I'm searching for tequila and I've misspelled tequila, not by coincidence, but just to showcase that you need to have a search engine that supports users that are not spelling correctly. And in fact, there's a lot of users that are not spelling correctly out there. This is a report from Google from last year saying that every day 1 out of 10 search queries are misspelled. We actually see that number a lot higher, but it really depends on industry. We have examples of every 4th search is a misspell. So you need to make sure that you have a search engine that is really good at understanding that users are not at their best always to do spelling and give some correct results either way. So you'll see that Relewise understands tequila is probably tequila. It suggests that word. It also shows the products that are matching that. So let's say that we, as the owners of the Boozy store, we're looking at search analytics, and we can see that there's a lot of users that are searching for tequila. And what we would really like is to add a cocktail that has tequila as ingredient in that. So we go back to Umbraco. We'll create a new cocktail, Tequila Sunrise, provide a headline, provide a description, provide an image, and then we'll click Save and Publish. And now the Relewise integration from Relewise to, the Relewise Umbraco integration is now automatically pushing that data into Relewise. So now Relewise also has, the understanding or knows that we have a new content element called Tequila Sunrise, and this is now available for search. So if we go back to the Boozy website and we retype tequila and we see the updated result, now Relewise is going to return back the content page that also matches the word tequila. So in the Boozy site, we make sure to search both for the products and the content. We can even see on the front page that this recommended component of recommending content in top of the website has been updated. It now includes the Tequila Sunrise content page as well. So the last thing I want to show about the Boozy website is the integration to email marketing. So in Boozy, we have added a component where you can subscribe to a newsletter. And now the scenario is that I want to send out a newsletter to my newsletter subscribers. And I want to write a specific campaign about rosé wine. I'm writing a lot of text and images and all that stuff, but I also want to include some product recommendations. I want to add some products that can actually be purchased so that we can earn some money in my Boozy business here. And in order to do that, we have a HTML generator in Relewise that is targeting specific email systems. And basically this generator can be customized to our different customers, and we can add different sort of filtering options. In this case, I've added a filtering option that allows me to say, I only want to have products within specific categories to be recommended. So I'm selecting rosé wine as a category in the generator. The generator is going to create some HTML. I'm going to copy that HTML, go back to my email template in Klaviyo and insert that HTML. So now my email template in Klaviyo, it has, a script, an HTML block that tells that when this block is being rendered by the browser, by the email client, we need to show 4 product recommendations, and they have to be products within the rosé wine category. We're not saying which 4 rosé wines to be recommended. It just has to, comply with the specification. So Relewise is then responsible for finding the right 4 rosé wines to that particular user. And if we know that user because we've picked up an email address or we've sent out multiple newsletters to that user previously, then we start to know exactly what the taste of this particular customer is, and we'll recommend the right wines to that particular customer. So that was just a very, very quick walkthrough, an introduction to Relewise, an introduction to the Umbraco integration that we built, a showcase of the integration in terms of this Boozy website. But really, I want to go back to you, Anders, and maybe you can tell a little about how you guys decide on platforms and decide on partners.
Yeah, sure. And once again, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. It was a lot of talking, a lot of slides, but it's always nice to have it refreshed. So at Impact, we work with a lot of different partners, but also platforms. And I'm part of what we call the Technology Leadership Board. I'm looking over the more business side of things, but what we have here is our platform radar, and it's something that we have introduced to kind of give an overview of what we are doing and what is cooking in the market, so to speak. So we are approached each and every day, more or less, by new platforms or new technologies out there that would like to partner with us, and we try to put it in a context where we can work with them. So we have what we call don't care, and basically it's something that's not interesting for Impact. That could be a third-party technology that's not interesting for us or for our customers. We are mostly focusing on e-commerce, so that could be a smaller player, for example. And then we have some contenders, and that could be platforms that we have been looking for. That could be that could be a push from the market saying, hey, maybe these guys have something that's very interesting. And we take it in and we have it on our radar. And if we see a potential customer that fits to that, maybe we should do the assessing and see if that platforms actually fit into to our roadmap. And then we take that platform in, and maybe Brian, you can jump to the next slide, because what we go into then is what we call a partner selection, and basically we look at it from most importantly, is it something for our customers? I think that's very very important to highlight here. But when we look at the partner, do they have a customer base? And when we start speaking with Relewise, it was, the Søstrene, the Co-op, and now Brian has also showed a lot of other great logos previously. So these give confidence, but also looking at some of the customers and the product, does it actually fit with the roadmap that we see out there? And also, are they getting some sort of traction in the market? I think that's also very important. Are there other partners in there? When we are done that and say, okay, there is something here, we of course need to look at the features. What are they providing? And for Relewise, it's pretty simple. You have a very small responsibility when it comes to the composable setup. It's search and recommendation. We like that. But also, is there something on top of that? And for instance, that could be some kind of innovation. That could be AI, like you mentioned, Brian. You know, the misspelling part. Okay, then we don't need to build that ourselves. Great. Check with that. And then, of course, we go into and see technical capabilities. How are these guys? Is the performance good? What is the background of the co-founders? You know, all these things. Is it a SaaS, a PaaS, or is it a cloud product? And of course, it's also very important for us that typically the platforms we take in are built on top of Mac principles. And when we're done that, it typically lands on my table and say, okay, Anders, what about these guys? Can we do some business with them? Otherwise, we out. So for me, at least, it's very important that they partner first. We are an agency and we need to bill hours. So there needs to be some billable hours in there. Check. How does the pricing look compared to some of the other products that we have on the shelf? Okay, we can see a fit for potential customers. Check with that. Joint sales. Maybe there's something here we can help Relewise with, which is good, and we can maybe help them position them in the market. And then we go on to marketing. Lately, Relewise has been with us. What we recently did a huge push in the Nordic market on something we call the Omnichannel Index, and they're part of that. So that's something we would like our partners to be part of as well. Umbraco was there as well. And last but not least, is there some kind of kickback, or how is that handled? Is that something that goes back into training or marketing activities, etc.? And then last year we introduced an accelerator, something that we are investing heavily in right now. So is that an interest for our partners to be part of that? That's kind of the checkmark game that I'm doing and what we're doing. And if, let's say, 80% of these are checked, we're good to go. So this is how we select the partners. And after that, you know, there goes a bunch of work into onboarding the partner into the organization and making sure that that we deliver on excellence on the products that we do. Yeah.
Makes sense, Anders. Thank you. So yeah, I just want to end the webinar with a quick customer case, a concrete example of Relewise and Impact working together on a concrete customer here, Kane, which is one of the largest homeware chains in Denmark, having around 100 physical stores. And Relewise is used for personalized product search, recommendations on-site and in newsletters. We help with marketing automation, abandoned cart, product interest, and all the orders that are actually placed inside the physical stores are every night pushed from the ERP system and into Relewise. Impact has been responsible for building the online storefront. Here's an example from Kane. So this is a search for glass. And you'll see that when we search for glass on Kane, Relewise is going to return back products that are matching the word glass. But let's say that the user journey starts somewhere else. The user starts from Google. The user has searched for Lyngby glass and decided from the paid ad that the glass that the user is interested in looking at are these particular Lyngby glass from Kane. The user actually don't care about Kane here. They just want the cheapest price of glass right now. So they click from the paid ad, they go to the website, they end directly on the product detail page of, Lyngby glass for red wine. So the user wants to buy these, add the red wine glass to the cart. The glasses get added to the cart. Now the first thing the user does next is to type glass. Now you'll see that Relewise actually returns a different result than what we saw before. The reason is that something changed. The user now has a different pattern. The user has actually done something. And Relewise will do this personalization, and we will look at products that have a higher coherence to the context for the user right now. So because the user have added Lyngby red wine glass to the cart, let's just actually hit enter. You'll see that the results produced are those products that have a higher coherence to that red wine glass, entirely based on data. So in the data, we can see that they typically buy glasses for white wine, highball, whiskey, water glasses, champagne glasses, a can, and beer glasses as well. And this is completely driven by the user behavioral data that gets tracked and the orders that get placed in the physical store. So to speak, the search results are personalized. Yeah. This is a last example from Copper Cannon. I'm on the product detail page of a SodaStream machine. I'm looking at that as a user. If we scroll down, you'll see on the website, we're using two product recommendation sliders. The first one is to sort of give the user an idea of what can be purchased together with that SodaStream machine, so complementary products. And Relewise has, based on the data that we're observing, learned that typically these bottles are purchased together with Siop is purchased together as well, for those that don't like the taste of sparkling water. And for those customers that do not end up buying this particular style of SodaStream machine, we have a different recommendation slider where we look at what is the behavior of those customers, what other products are they typically looking at. And again, this is just an example again that you could have landed on this page directly from a paid ad, and we really need to make sure that the user is not going to leave our site. We need to make sure that we can push the user forward, both by showing some complementary products, but also to show some alternative products as shown here. Very quick, we're also part of the email newsletters from Copper Cannon. So every week, or many times a week actually, when they send out newsletters, we push personalized product recommendations into the email marketing system. So yeah, as you said, Anders, that was a lot of slides and a lot of talk, and we're done with that now. The last thing I want to say is that I'm really happy that you guys have joined the webinar today, and you as well, Anders, of course. Thanks for wanting to be part of it.
Anytime.
We are partner first driven, so we really, I hope if you guys have looked at the webinar and you find Relewise interesting, I hope that you will start connecting to us. I have all the details here. You can connect on LinkedIn. You can visit our website if you want to learn more about us. Yeah, just do that. We're ready. Thank you.
And thank you, Brian. Thank you, Anders, for great presentations. And I tell you what, we're already straight into questions. And if anyone has further questions, just throw it into the chat or the Q&A. But we have a question here from Lee Markets, who's asking, how would you compare, differentiate Relewise versus Algolia?
Right. So Relewise is built out of personalization. So that's what we did. We started building Relewise on top of personalization. So I'm just going to say what we do and not saying what Algolia does, because I think they can do that better than me. But we've built Relewise on top of personalization. We've built Relewise with personalization in mind, which in our case is the main driver for that is to track user behavioral data and use that for what we build on top of it, personalized search. So our search component and the personalization logic that we have is fit right together. The same goes for the recommendation. It's not two different things. But yeah, we're a search engine, they're a search engine. So there's definitely some similarities there.
And I can say from a partner point of view, there is a price difference.
Yeah, going on with price. Could you tell us more about the pricing, Brian?
Yeah, sure. So we have a pricing model that is based on consumption. So every month, what we do is that we look at how many requests did the client of us make against our API, and then our customer will get an invoice based on that. So basically, what we have is a starting price, which is €500 per month for having search and recommendations from Relewise. And those months where you'll have a lot of traffic, let's say November, because of Black Week and possibly Christmas sales as well, you'll actually have potentially a lot more traffic on your site, utilizing Relewise more, thus having a higher invoice that month. And then in August, when all of us are on vacation and you have less traffic on the website, the payment is going to be, the invoice is going to be a little smaller that month. So it's consumption based without any binding.
Okay, we have another question from the audience. Is asking any examples of non-e-commerce implementations?
Yeah. So we, as a search engine, we offer search within content, and we do have some government sites in Denmark where we do only search within content sites. And the the Relewise integration to Umbraco, it only handles content. It only, synchronizes content from Umbraco to Relewise. So yeah, and we have customers that are only use Relewise for content.
Right. And a question from me now. You're a fairly young company. Why did you start? How did it all start, Brian? Could you just give us an idea of that?
Yeah, sure. So officially we started 1st of September 2020. So we're just about 2 years old. Relewise goes way back. So as I mentioned, I'm from the consultancy business side of things. So I've been implementing large-scale e-commerce solutions, working on a lot of different platforms, including a lot of different personalization engines, search engines, and I found some gaps, some missing functionality, especially around B2B functionality. And we decided actually 5 years ago that we wanted to try out ourselves. And we spent the first 3 years of Relewise history just, in the basement, more or less, and implementing things. And once we were ready, we showcased it to one of the largest retailers in Denmark selling groceries, and they were on. So that is actually how we started it up, because we have, been building a lot of digital solutions with different platforms. Yeah.
Okay. So running out of time here. Any final remarks or comments, Brian, Anders? No. Otherwise, I just want to. Yeah. Sorry, Anders.
No, I just wanted to say, again, I want to emphasize that we're a partner first company. So we really want, partners to reach out to us and we can elaborate more on what we can offer. Yeah. That's
Great.
it from my side. Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. Well, thank you again, Brian, Anders, for joining us today. Thank you everyone for attending. This webinar has been taped and recorded, so it'll be shareable on YouTube soon. So thank you everyone. We will soon be back with another inspiring tech webinar. Thank you again.